the 2 loaves of leavened bread. Why should I do this, Rabbi? Why should I offer my chametz that is not part of the new lump, who we are in Yeshua? Why? Here's why. Because Mashiach did it. He laid down his life, and by showing us how we ought to lay down our sins and our lives for others. Meaning my sin not only stops me from being a new grain offering, it also stops the lump from growing into everything that it can be in Yeshua. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Turn to your neighbor and say it makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense.
Perfect sense.
Well, brother, I go to work every day, 9 to 5, drive a cab, clean the shop. What's Yahweh's will? Same wife, same laundry, same house. Here's Yahweh's will. Are you moving in his program to be a new lump? The whole wheat unleavened bread, that's who Yeshua is. The whole wheat unleavened bread. He wants to turn you into the whole wheat unleavened bread, but we need to what? Lay down those sins that so easily beset us. Here's Yahweh's will. That we walk, Mordechai, is a new type of bread. Whole wheat unleavened bread. Verse 7 asks us to walk like this, 1 Corinthians 5:7. Because that's who we have become in Yeshua. Hello? A new bread, a new lump, waiting for the change of our dust nature body to one day put on the new flesh like Yeshua's flesh, knowing no human nature. People say, well, what kind of flesh does Yahweh want me to put on? He wants you to put on Yeshua's flesh. You have put it on positionally. Now we need to get rid of the sin that would stop us from continuing to clothe ourselves in that covering. You with me? How much human nature did Yeshua's flesh have?
0.
I had some guy on the internet tell me, some well-respected man, he shared in Adam's Yetzer Hara, his evil inclination. And he shared, it says right there in the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, he shared in the flesh and blood of man. Really? So if he shared in the flesh and blood of man, that means he had Adam's blood. If he had Adam's blood, then he had no pure blood. If he had no pure blood, he can't be the great physician making these 2 loaves into a new grain. Notice, he just doesn't want to fix those 2 loaves. He wants to take those 2 loaves in his own hands. Man cannot do this. Yeshua is not trusting man to do this. To take those 2 houses, the 2/10 of an ephah, the remnant of those 2 houses, and make those 2 loaves one new grain offering. Not just any offering, but a Shavuot offering. That's who you are. That's who you and I are. A Shavuot offering before Yahweh. If we're willing, if we're willing, if we're willing. Todah rabah Yahweh. We are the new bread waiting to happen. We are the new bread with a new flesh and a new nature, knowing no dust nature. And if we believe that positionally, and we walk it out positionally by emunah, for we walk by emunah, and not by sight. If we walk this long journey by emunah and not by sight, what we believe positionally will come to fruition at his return. We'll talk more about that in a few hours. Until that day comes, when that change, that visible change of that whole wheat unleavened bread covers our mortal flesh. Until we see it come to fruition. Until that day comes, we must choose not to give in to the old flesh, because that's exactly what the devil wants to tell you you are. A nothing, a discard, a reject. Sorry, that's what I used to be. That's not what I am now. That's not what you are now. That's what I used to be. He's trying to show you who you used to be instead of who you were in the process of becoming. Todah rabah Yahweh.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. This is so powerful. I'm going to have to sit down for the nuclear explosion in a few minutes.
Yep.
So I don't get shaken. Verse 8. So then, Corinthians Aleph 5:8. So then, let us keep the moed, not with the old chametz, the old leaven, neither with the chametz of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened whole wheat matzah, or the unleavened matzah of sincerity and emet, truth. In other words, we are commanded, brothers and sisters, listen. We are commanded to keep the feast of Yahweh, knowing that we have been offered to Yahweh as the first fruit bikurim by the high priest, Yeshua, and by an act of our obedience, we have already put on the new bread by faith. We have already sealed ourselves as the future new loaf that will one day be clothed with a whole wheat unleavened bread like our Master. This is what came on the day of Shavuot. This is what came on the day of Pentecost. This is what came, whole wheat unleavened manna from heaven to cover our nakedness. Hallelujah. To be endued, clothed with power from on high. That's what came on Shavuot. A new wardrobe. And now you need to put it on until that full change becomes a reality in the kingdom. It's easy to hold a grudge. It's easy to walk in unforgiveness. It's easy to have a long memory. But great is the man and great is the woman who learns to have a short memory and keeps no record of wrong. Watch this. Go with me please to Yochanan. Yochanan Aleph 3:23. Yochanan. Is anyone enjoying?
Amen.
That's what I thought you'd say. That's what I hoped you'd say. Yochanan Aleph 3:23. Yochanan. Shout out a page, please.
7:13.
Yochanan Aleph?
Yeah, 7:13.
I don't think so. You might have a different edition. Yochanan Aleph. 1 John. There we go.
Yeah.
878. Okay. Yochanan Aleph.
I got 7:13.
Okay, different edition. 3:23. I'm sorry, 3, 2, and 3. Yochanan Aleph, 3, 2, and 3. Behold what manner of Ahavah the Abba has bestowed upon us, that we should right now be called the B'nai Yahweh. By the way, if you take the numerical gematria of B'nai Yahweh, you know what number you come up with? 153. Remember the 153 fishes that Kepha and the Talmidim caught? That was the renewed covenant assembly of Israel. B'nai Yahweh equals 153 in gematria, in numerics. Therefore the Olam Hazeh does not know us because it did not know him. Verse 2, Yochanan Aleph 3:2. But now we are the B'nai Yahweh, and it has not yet been revealed what we shall be. But we know that when he is revealed, when? Then. When? When he is revealed, we shall be like him. When? Then. Not now. Then. When? Then. When he is revealed, because we will see him as the whole wheat unleavened bread that he really is. Verse 3. Whoever has this faith, this tikvah, this hope in him, to see him as the whole wheat unleavened bread from heaven, becomes pure as he is now pure. This doctrine that we've been sharing that is thousands of years old, that Yeshua had a flesh not of Mary or of his father, but whole wheat unleavened flesh. We'll talk more about that another time. We've spoken about that other times. Whoever has the hope that their body and flesh will be like his body and flesh purifies himself to get rid of the leaven and to be the new lump that Yahweh says he has come to do on Shavuot.
Wow.
You want to one day have the flesh of Yeshua? And be like Yeshua and see him as he is? That's good. That hope will purify you. We're not worried about changing things in our leaven. We're not worried about that. We are looking for the operation of Yeshua. We present ourselves as 2 loaves full of leaven, and we exit this program as one new lump, bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh. That's the program. That's the program. Yahweh is not finished with us until we come bone of his bone and flesh of his. In other words, he takes, if you give him what you got, if you give him these 2 loaves, Jews, give it to him. You've got nothing about your Jewishness that he's impressed with anyway. You Ephraimites, give him your church background and all the things that, all those weird Easter eggs and whatever is binding you in religion. Give that to him, and he will turn it in the grinder of truth, and come out, you will be a brand new lump. A whole wheat lump. Unleavened bread. Now watch. To that about, watch this, brothers and sisters. In Maaseh Shlichim, Acts chapter 2, we need to get a little bit more understanding, especially when it comes to mikvah or baptism. Remember, what is the program? The program is to make you into a new lump. The program is to get your flesh and your spirit and your heart holy, weeded, and unleavened. See?
Amen.
¿Somos en acuerdo? ¿Sí? We are one?
Sí, señor.
That's the program. That's what Yahweh wants. Watch this.
That's what he said.
But in order to get this great Shavuot exchange, Miss Shoshana, what an exchange, what a father. He's willing to take our old body, our old heart, our old nature, our old sin, and make it into a new whole wheat unleavened lump, the great exchange. But in order to fully grasp the great exchange, you've got to tackle the missing link. You are the missing link. Mr. Bromfield, we've got to tackle. Yahweh's not interested in playing flag football, darling. This is tackle, Britt.
Yes, sir.
He wants to tackle your old nature and substitute it with a new nature. Whole wheat, unleavened bread. Body, soul, spirit, fully whole, fully weeded, and fully unleavened. Sin lavadura, somebody.
Amen.
I know what I'm talking about. Tadara ba Yah.
Yahweh.
But we read Maaseh Shlichim chapter 2. We read Vayikra 23 that we just read. We see Yahweh's purpose. We see Yahweh's goal. We see Yahweh's design. We see Yahweh's plans. We see Yahweh's blueprint. But we've missed the link. Therefore, the Shavuot exchange cannot take place without the missing link. Are you with me?
Amen.
YP, are you with me? Uh-huh. So we all want this great Shavuot exchange, but we've got to grasp the reality and the sincerity of the missing link. Rachel, you understand what a missing link is? You can't get from point A to point B until you find the link that gets you there. Amen?
Amen.
I'll sit down while I read this, and then I'll be right back up. Woo! Now, when we find the missing link, to approach the missing link, listen, we have to remember one of Satan's key tricks. How many know Satan has tricks? We have to understand one of Satan's key tricks. Ready? Here's one of Satan's key tricks. Cynthia, you with me? Watch. It's not important. Head coverings. It's not important.
Uh-oh. Yeah, right.
Seat. It's not important. Shabbat, not important. As long as it's a 7-day principle. Doesn't matter. If you can pick any day as long as you rest once every 7th day. It's not important. I can go to synagogue on Sunday. That didn't sound good, did it? I can go to synagogue on Sunday. Why? ¿Por qué? It's not important. That's one of Satan's biggest tricks.
Amen.
Es no importante. So coming from a Jewish background, can we talk?
Go ahead.
Can we talk?
Let's
We can
talk.
talk, go ahead.
Coming from a Jewish background, do you know there are still bozos on the internet that don't think I'm Jewish? They made a great discovery. My name is Marshall. Did you know that Moshe's not even his real name? What a discovery, brother. All you got to do is go into the lobby and look at the certificate on the wall. It says Marshall. Like I'm trying to hide anything. But unlike most rabbis, I didn't have to go fishing for a Hebrew name. Moshe was my name at birth. And my boss changed it to Marshall because he didn't think Moshe was good for business. It was too Jewish. But I've got a real Hebrew name, unlike most of these rabbis who are Leroy McGillicuddy and they become Eliezer ben Yehuda.
That made my day right there.
Mi nombre ahora, Eliahu ben Yehuda Tresiente. Well, I was one of those rabbis that got hooked with a Hebrew name right at birth. And it was a Jewish employer who tried to tell me it was too Jewish, so they put Marshall in my vocabulary. Now, let me ask you, do I look like a Marshall?
No. Yes. Don't pay no attention now.
Happened that.
So they get on the internet. Did you know that Rabbi Moshe hates black folks and hates Spanish folks? Really? How come I got a congregation full of Spanish and black folks? You know, you bunch of liars. I'm going to preach. Yahweh didn't give me... these people, you got to be careful what you listen to.
Oh, that's right.
Listen, there are entire websites dedicated to me. Can you imagine that? Oh, absolutely. The devil hates us so much. You can find entire websites about Rivka, saying things about Rivka, saying things about me. Entire website. And the only thing they got, never caught me with a hooker, never caught me with a woman, never caught me with drugs, because there are none. The only thing they ever caught me with was Marshall. Marshall. And then we spoke to Marshall's cousin. And then we verified it with Marshall's uncle. It's not Moshe, it's Marshall.
Oh
The entire website's dedicated to that I'm Marshall.
Oh my God.
They don't have anything on me.
They ain't got nothing to do. That's
Because I want to be a whole wheat. Unleavened bread.
oh my goodness.
Okay, let's continue. So we need to get from where we are declared to be whole wheat unleavened bread to where we become whole wheat unleavened bread when Yeshua returns. So the link that gets us there has been de-emphasized. Getting back to my Jewish background. We were talking like earlier, openly. When I got saved and I started going to a Messianic congregation, I used to run into Jewish people all the time. And when they prayed, I noticed something when they prayed. They said, Lord, bless me, bless mama, bless sister, bless. Amen.
Not the Jews.
No Yeshua. No en nombre de Yeshua. En poder de Yeshua HaMoshiach. Nothing. Amen. God, and God. Now, there are some Jewish people, not all. And then when you said, hey, I won't say any names. Okay, how come you don't pray in Yeshua's name? Well, I'm just not comfortable. But you're saved, right? Huh? Have you been mikvah? No, I'm never converting to Christianity. I didn't ask you if you were converting to Christianity. I asked you if you've been mikvah. Because to the Jewish mind, mikvah equals joining the Crusaders. And so the average Jewish person, the average, not all, fears mikvah, not all, because water mikvah, water baptism, to them is how they converted us before they slaughtered us. That's how they prepared us for the slaughter. They converted us through forced baptism.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And so Satan has frightened my Jewish people. Turn to your neighbor and say frightened.
Frightened. They're frightened.
Not heightened, frightened.
Right.
S period, A period,
Tan.
Tan, has frightened my Jewish people so they fear mikvah. They're saved, they're born again, they love Yeshua, but sometimes they can't say his name, and other times they refuse to be mikvah, which is an act of obedience commanded by Yahweh.
Oh, man.
But remember Satan's trick?
Yes.
It's no big deal. If a Jewish person is uncomfortable
Yes.
with mikvah, no big deal. Leave them alone. They're saying, I'm here to tell you today, it's a bigger deal than the devil has told us or tried to tell us.
Amen.
So when S.A.10, listen, has de-emphasized regarding mikvah, and especially water mikvah, as it relates to the events of Shavuot, you cannot divorce the events of Shavuot from the water mikvah, Shoshana. Because the water mikvah, or baptism, is in Acts chapter 2, and it is in Exodus chapter 19. We needed mikvah to prepare for Torah, and we needed mikvah to prepare for the ruach, the power that would lead us on a road until we became whole wheat, unleavened bread. Talk to me, somebody. So now we've got major denominations, major movements, major messianic organizations that talk about being saved and filled with the Holy Ghost. They're even talking about speaking in tongues. That's fine. I believe in speaking in tongues. I have no problem with that. But Satan has de-emphasized. What does water mikvah, water baptism, have to do with the events of Shavuot? The answer is everything. Everything. Let me clarify this before more websites spring up. Pastor Marshall does not teach water regeneration. Don't teach it, don't believe it. I don't believe you are born again because you get wet. Woo! I believe you're born again by faith in the death, burial, and resurrection of Yeshua. So can we kill up 2 websites before they go up? I had some guy write me, it sounds like this whole wheat unleavened bread is baptismal regeneration. Now Rabbi Moshe is into a heresy. See, they can't answer me from Scripture, so they accuse me. Now I'm teaching baptismal regeneration. I have never taught that baptism saves a man or a woman. I have never taught that, and I never will. But it is the missing link to the great exchange that you want.
Oh my goodness. Teach. That's awesome. More.
So mikvah doesn't save us, but it links us to the promise of Yochanan Aleph 3:1 and 2. It links us to the promise that we will become bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh. It's the missing link. Translate that good in Spanish. I don't want him to lose it. It's the missing link. And Satan said, no importante. Pero sí, es mejor importante. Because without that, you won't get your whole... You presented your body, you're keeping Torah. You presented yourself as a sinful loaf, one of the remnants of the 2 houses of Israel. Why does the high priest wave it? It's not a sin offering. It's a request. Please, Father. Please, por favor, Abba Yahweh, please change this vile, sinful body and make it a whole wheat, immortal body like yours. The reason it's not on the altar of sin, it's not a sin offering. It's not a sin offering. It's a request. It's the high priest beseeching, begging, pleading with Yahweh, do for them what you did for your son, Yeshua.
Yes.
That's why it's a wave offering.
Hallelujah.
If it was a sin offering, it would be brought outside the camp, Mordecai.
Amen.
But this wave offering is done inside the camp. Now I'm going to go quickly.
Teach.
Go with me to Maseh Shlichim.
Take your time.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Maseh Shlichim. Hechos 2:24. Let's delve into this missing link. Do we all agree Yahweh wants to give us a new body? Whole wheat unleavened bread. Do we all agree with that?
Yes. Amen.
Question is, how do we get there? How do we get there? Well, we have the power of the Ruach. We have the power to live for Yahweh.
Yes.
So then if the Ruach gives us the power to be like Yahweh and to live for Yahweh, what does the water do? We already know the water is worthless if it doesn't do something. What does the water do? It makes the church bigger, right? Wrong. It allows the church to build an indoor swimming pool where they can mikvah and have their children swim, right? Wrong. What is the purpose of mikvah? Well, brother, I know. It just shows you that your old life is dead and the new man is raised and the old man goes in and the new man comes in. Right? Wrong. Not in terms of Shavuot. Not in the context of Shavuot. What does water have to do in the context of Shavuot? Inquiring minds want to know.
You tell.
Because we see it in that context.
Yes.
In Maseh Shlichim chapter 2. We see it in the context of the giving of the Torah, where everybody had to wash, to prepare to be kadosh, to meet Yahweh.
Amen.
Now let's go to verse 24, quickly. Maaseh Shlichim 2:24. Is anyone enjoying?
Amen.
Let's try in the sound booth. Is anyone enjoying?
Amen.
Whom Yahweh has raised up, having demolished the cords of death, because it was not possible for Sheol to hold the Mashiach. For David spoke concerning the Mashiach. I saw my Yahweh always before my face. For he is on my right hand, that I should never be moved. Verse 26. Therefore did my lave, my heart have gilah, have joy and simcha, and my tongue had simcha. Moreover, my body shall rest in tikva. My body shall. David is saying, because of Yeshua's resurrection, because Yeshua is on the right hand as Yahweh, I will not be moved. My heart will have joy. My tongue